Howdy everybody, my name is Brocster, and welcome to 100 videos. That's right, I have officially put out 100 videos. I wanted this video to be number 100, but it didn't turn out that way. Unfortunately, I didn't plan ahead. I just kind of scheduled it, and I didn't really take into consideration that this video would not be number 100, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I wanted to dedicate this video to, well, I suppose the people who inspired me to start doing YouTube. I'm doing YouTube now, not really as seriously as much as I did in the past, because, you know, as a kid I was like, man, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to get that money. But now I'm just posting videos to have fun, which is what I think YouTube should be. But I want to dedicate this to all the channels really that inspired me to do this. Am I missing a couple? Sure, 100%. We're gonna go through it in the timeline, starting from most recent to my earliest childhood memories. Strap in. Let's start with the one that currently is inspiring me to do YouTube. If it isn't the man, the myth, the very controversial legend, Mr. J. Schlatt. Oh boy, what an interesting character. YouTube isn't what it used to be. You know, some people are starting to quit YouTube, and people fear for the next generation of YouTube and how it's going to be cringe or anything, but this keeps everything nice and level. I like watching his videos. His videos are entertaining. They're a little bit, you know, controversial. This is the wrong channel, by the way. He doesn't post on this channel. I should have shown J. Schlatt live, because he posts on that, like, I'd say semi-regularly. He's the most recent YouTuber that I'm watching that I watch and say, I'm inspired by this guy, because, you know, he's a funny guy. He says what he says. He has the funny mic, and he's very pissed off all the time, and I find that funny. I find it inspiring. Granted, he does do a lot of his stuff on Twitch, but I'm not going to let that dissuade me from the fact that he inspires me to make videos. Good job, Mr. Schlatt. You inspire me. You make me want to do this job. But how did I get introduced to the Schlatt? Oh shit. How did I get introduced to Schlatt? Well, I got introduced in a way that I think a good majority of the internet was introduced to Schlatt, and that was through Mr. Colby Carson. Now, I know he's a very controversial figure nowadays, but he inspired me to start doing YouTube around this year, these past couple years. When it comes to Schlatt and Colby Carson, they were people that I would consistently watch throughout my first year of college, and also through my first upper half of high school. This was somebody that I watched, and I know he went through a very controversial, you know, time, and for good reason, and he's not exactly the very popular figure that he used to be, and I admit I don't watch him as much anymore, but I can't deny that he's somebody that I looked to and made me want to start doing videos, because I used to have these things where I'd lapse and say, do I really want to make YouTube videos? Is it worth it? But seeing how much fun that these two had, Schlatt and Colby Carson, it's inspiring. It makes you want to do YouTube, not for the fame or for the views, but for the fun, and they had fun, and that inspired me. Next up on our list is Markiplier, the one, the only, the classic. Now, I have to admit that this is not exactly in the right place, because I watched him way back. The first video that I ever watched of Markiplier was, of course, the first Five Nights at Freddy, and I watch it and say, why is this dad playing video games? He looks like he has like a 5-year-old daughter, but in fact he does not. He does not have a daughter. In fact, he is actually fairly young. It's just that deep and foreboding voice. But watching him really inspired me, because he was a classic. He didn't put a lot of editing into his videos. He didn't put a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot of production, if you understand me, not a lot of production in his videos back in the day. It was just film, record, and then post, with very little editing. Nowadays, now he has an editor. He has Lixian, so, you know, he can do a lot more quality videos, which is cool, because he's still rocking it. I mean, he's really rocking it when it comes to views, and I'd say he's even more popular than where he was before. But he's somebody that I used to watch back in the day, and I must admit, I still watch, and I watch him to, you know, inspire me to start making videos, because he's somebody that's been there since, I'd say, the very beginning of YouTube. I wouldn't say that he was part of the foundation, but he was there supporting. He was there supporting his weight. Next up on the list is PewDiePie, the man, the king of YouTube, the also very controversial figure because people hate success. I didn't watch him back in the day, I must admit. The first video that I actually watched of PewDiePie was his Dark Souls 3 run. That's when I got in, which was, I believe, was 2015, if I'm not mistaken. But I didn't watch like his Amnesia or anything. I watched his videos back in, I'd say, the middle of his career, and then I'd watch on and off again through the years going by. So these are the two YouTubers, Markiplier and PewDiePie, who I'd watched in the lower half of my high school career, and maybe the beginning of my middle school career. I don't watch PewDiePie as much as I used to, but I really want to get back into it, because I think he still makes some pretty good stuff. These are the most recent YouTubers that I've watched, but now we're about to go back. And I mean way, way back. Again, I've said that I've watched Markiplier and PewDiePie in the past, but we're gonna go further back with the one person who I think inspired me a lot, and I mean a lot, and I think inspired a lot of people as well. Vanoss Gaming. Hooey mama. I don't even know where to begin. He's probably one of the most high quality and at the same time consistent YouTubers that I have ever seen, posting like 3 times a week, and each video having an insane amount of editing. And that really inspired me because I started watching him in middle school, and I'm watching him now, and he's still pulling in so many views. Like, he's been making videos for what, 8 years, and he's consistently on average making like 1 million views. That's nuts. And he's like the YouTuber who really brought in Kevin MacLeod as part of the music in the background of YouTube videos. And the fact that he's still making videos and still doing really good on the platform, that's inspiring. And his videos and the way that he made them inspired me too. Now, of course, I can't edit like he did. Believe me, I tried. It's too much time, and it's time that I do not have. Now, back on our list is, we're getting into lower middle school to elementary school. Sky does Minecraft, or Sky does everything, as he's now called, and oh my gosh, what do I even say about this? Let me start off by saying that the current situation with him is really sad. You know, it's sad to see a childhood hero just go down the drain, and then you find out that he's not exactly a good person in real life, and find out that he's not exactly somebody that you should look up to. But I have to admit, and you have to give him credit, that he is our childhood, or a good majority of the people's childhood. And watching his videos back in the day, it was something that I really wanted to do. I really wanted to, you know, play Minecraft adventure maps for YouTube videos, or play Cops and Robbers. I used to watch him all the time to see what kind of Minecraft mods he would review. And seeing all that stuff and seeing where he is now is just, it's sad. It really is sad. But he did inspire me to make YouTube videos. He is one of the earlier ones, I'd say. And for that, he will always have some level of respect for me. Going further back, we come into 2 YouTubers are coming up that not a lot of people know about. Vintage Beef. Vintage Beef is a real one for me because he used to be a part of the Mindcrack server. You'll see that I'm a part of a bit of a Minecraft person back in the day. Still am, just a little bit. But he used to make such cool videos. I remember I used to watch his Skyrim series before he just kind of quit and then never picked it up again. And I know he's part of the Hermitcraft now, but I know him most from Mindcrack, and I know him most from the prank wars he used to do, and the really cool builds that he used to do as well, because he used to build like massive builds, and that was always cool to see. I remember trying to quote-unquote make a server by just making a single player world and then calling it a server, and then trying to figure out how do I get people on this world, not really knowing what a server is. He really inspired me. Going further back, we come to a YouTuber that I guarantee you that I don't think anybody knows about. Rob TV, or as he used to be called, Bruce Willikers. Bruce Willikers was a real one. And I mean a real one. He was a whiz when it came to coding with Minecraft, because he was, for the most part, I would consider a Minecraft player. He had 2 things that he was really well known for. One of them was this game mode called Dwarves vs. Zombies, where you would spend a night or 2 building a fort, and then you would have zombies come after you, and you'd have to defend it and fight to the death. but it wouldn't matter because you would die anyway. And I think that game was like created 8 years ago, and it used to be very basic, but as Minecraft improved, the stuff that he was able to do with the coding just got exponentially more advanced and way more cool, and it was just so crazy to see what he was able to do. But another series he was a part of, and one that I was really fond of, in a community that I'm very proud to be a part of, is Lords of Minecraft. Now this was like a 144 video series, and it was a roleplay server, and it was like medieval themed, it was plot based, used to like do these weird things where you'd get gold, and it was a roleplay server for content that he would make. I didn't understand that at the time, and so I assume I pissed him off quite a lot when I was on there, but it was fun. It was so cool too, the stuff that he was able to do. Now, if you want to watch his videos, it's harder to do so now because he used to have thousands, I'm pretty sure, thousands of videos on his channel, but then he decided to private a lot of them, and then he changed his name. And he went on record saying the reason why was for his own mental health. And as much as it pains me that that's what happened, I have to respect it though, because I don't want to go against his mental health. He's somebody that I admire very much and somebody who inspired me to do videos. And so if he feels like privating it is the right thing for him, then I have to respect that decision. And of course, there's other ways to find it. You just have to dig deep on the internet. Something that I'm not yet willing to do, but if I'm feeling nostalgic, I could always do that. Even though he's more popularly known for Minecraft, he used to have this Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing called Unforgotten Realms, and he used to do a lot of Gmod too, like Murder and Trouble in Terrace Town, and all the series, they were just so good. And it's a channel that I really miss, and I hope these videos come back, but if they don't, that's fine. I have to make peace with that. If you want to see what early Dwarves vs. Zombie was, I'd go watch Pause and Pause. He doesn't post as much anymore either, if at all, but you can see what he was able to do 10 years ago when Minecraft was really basic. I mean, just look at the texture of the everything. It is so cool what he was able to do. This was somebody that I was a part of for elementary school and middle school, but now we're going way back into purely elementary school. Anthem. I actually remember the first video that got me on to Anthem, and it's this one right here, the Elemental Creepers mod. And I remember watching that and thinking, how cool is that? Because I was just getting into Minecraft, and Minecraft was very different back then because they didn't hold your hand with crafting recipes, and I didn't know anything about the game, so I would always go around my world and saying, where are these guys? And, you know, not understanding that's a mod. And, you know, of course I did the same thing with the Aether mod, which is something else that I got introduced to through him. He would also do a lot of puzzle maps as well, and I used to watch his oh my gosh, his Hunger Games. I forgot all about that. Jeez. Oh man, this is just a blast of nostalgia. But yeah, he used to do puzzle maps and mod reviews, and watching all of that stuff was just so cool. He's now more like a documentary kind of channel. He'd go over Minecraft and, you know, old Minecraft, but he's more well known to me through the older stuff he did, and that was the stuff that inspired me, because I wanted to be like a Minecraft YouTuber, as I'm sure hundreds of thousands of people did before. But yeah, wow, it's just cool looking back on all this stuff. So as you can see, I was a bit of a Minecraft person back in the day. But now we're getting way back with these two channels. These two channels, it's ancient, all right? It's ancient stuff. But this is the kind of YouTube that I was a part of. It was kind of my young generation that I was being brought into. Since these two channels are very close together, I'm going to review them at the same time. And that would be Nigahiga and Smosh. Primarily Nigahiga, or Ryan Higa. I couldn't tell you what the first video that I was introduced to was, but I can tell you the most recent one that I can remember, or rather the latest one I can remember, is The Truth About Miley Cyrus. Thinking back now, and I'd say that, I don't know, that was like 3-4 years ago, and in all likelihood it was probably 8 years ago now. I don't even think I could find it just scrolling down. That was 6 years ago? Oh my gosh. But it was so cool because this was the kind of YouTube that I grew up on. YouTube now, it's a much more different YouTube than the one that I was familiar with at the time. The new YouTube algorithm with all its flaws and wonders doesn't support this kind of content anymore. This is ancient stuff. You don't see this anymore because YouTube just doesn't like it. Now YouTube likes gaming videos or Reddit videos, and those are fine, but this is the stuff that I'm familiar with, and this is the stuff that I grew up on. And it has been so long since he posted. It's been 2 years, and you know, this can be attributed to multiple things: quarantine, him streaming now, and frankly him not wanting to do it anymore. He also had some controversy with some people that were part of his staff. A good friend of his, Sean, is no longer doing videos with him. He went off to be an engineer because that was something that he really wanted to do. It's sad that he doesn't post anymore, but he's still on Twitch. He does Twitch now, and I don't watch him on Twitch, but I probably should. I think I for sure should. And that pairs with Smosh, which is really just a shadow of its former self. Look at those views. These are all shorts. Jeez, dude, chill with the shorts. That's really sad. I remember Smosh back in the day. It was so simple because it was just Anthony and it was just Ian. It was just a camcorder. It was just those two, but then they became a lot more popular, and then they brought more people in, more high quality, and that was good, but then they became an industry more than, you know, people having fun, and you could see that as it went on. And then that drama with whatever company bought them out and bought Machinima, and then that whole thing happened, and that kind of was the end of them. And then Anthony left, and that really just kind of put the 15th nail in the coffin. Yeah, they're just a shadow of their former self. But they were so fun to watch back in the day. Man, all of these people, looking back at all of them, it's crazy. It's crazy where these people are now, and it's crazy that here I am now in a very different age of YouTube. Some people would say that's just not the same, and it's not the same. It has very different rules. Making videos is so much harder, and for a lot of people, it's just not the same. But looking back at all of these channels, for better and for worse, and seeing how far YouTube has gone and how many people I've seen and watched and how they inspired me, it's these people that I have to thank for making Brocster and for really making me. I watched a lot of YouTube, and these were the people I watched, and these are the people that made me want to start. And here we are now. If anybody's watching this video and of these people, thank you. Thank you for making me. And I'm sure I'm missing some people, and thank you guys too. If I think of you, I'll probably make another video. But that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, if indeed you still are, and thank you people for making me. My name is Brocster, and I bid you all adieu.